1000 to 1200, those were the testosterone levels of your grandpa. Now divide that by 3, 300 to 500 nanograms per deciliter. Those are the average levels of testosterone of males in India in 2025. So आसान भाषा में testosterone has dropped to one third of what it was just 50 to 60 years ago. As we all know, testosterone is linked to ambition, drive, vitality. In other words, if you have a higher level of testosterone, then your goals won't get easier. On the contrary, you'll set bigger goals because you won't be afraid of moving towards them. We see this in world class athletes all the time. Michael Jordan, Michael Phelps, Virat Kohli, Ronaldo, they have this 24/7 relentless drive and they center their entire lives revolving around achieving that goal. And so, one of my favorite quotes from Casey Neistat video is
The only thing in life that stands between you and everything you've ever wanted to do is doing it.
And at the end of it all, you'll either get there or you'll die trying, and it won't make a difference either way. And I truly believe that people with a higher level of testosterone subconsciously live by this framework. So I got my testosterone levels checked, and the report initially said that they had to recheck it. They thought that it was a mistake. What were the results? My testosterone levels came up to be 1002 nanograms per deciliter. So I had done a blood test 2 years ago and my testosterone levels went from 600 to 800 naturally. So in this video, let's break down a few habits that I did just say I got my testosterone levels to 1000 plus naturally. So hello everyone, I'm Anshul. I'm a business analyst doing a full-time job. I'm growing my YouTube channel. I'm also doing my masters. So the first habit that is not too surprising is your sleep. A national survey on India's sleep pattern found that 59% of us Indians get less than 6 hours of uninterrupted sleep every single night. So a study done in 2011 shows us that the average levels of testosterone are dropping by 1 to 2% every single year. But ये सोचो कि अगर आपने आपकी नींद skip की and you don't get about 7 to 8 hours of sleep every single night, then in just a week, your testosterone levels drop by 15%. So here's what I do to get better sleep. So I have my last meal of the day about 2 hours prior to bed, and ये जो 2 hours है, they personally work the best for me. But these can be different depending on your lifestyle, depending on your sleep schedule, depending on your work hours. But as a rule of thumb, and make it a priority, that always keep a few hours between your last meal of the day and bedtime. So the other thing that you could do that makes a difference in your sleep quality is stop using any blue lights after 8 p.m. Blue light from your phone, from your laptop, increase your cortisol level and increase your stress levels. So if you work on your laptop or your phone, then you can turn the warm mode on your device so it causes less strain on your eyes. So the third thing that I have been doing for the past few years, and it largely helps my anxiety levels. I don't wake up in the middle of the night feeling stressed, and that is not inviting any new information 1 hour prior to bed. So what I do is I limit the new information I get an hour prior to bed. If I'm watching a Netflix show, it is usually my comfort show. It isn't something new. I only talk to selective people 1 hour prior to bed. So the entire point of doing this is when you get unnecessary new information very close to bedtime, so where it keeps your brain active, it increases stimulation in your brain. So limit any new information 1 hour prior to bed, and let me know in the comments if that works out. Another big mistake that every single human being on this earth does is we are always around devices. Problem is that these devices emit a very high level of radiation, and usually we keep our phones in our pockets whenever we don't use them. In other words, this device that emits a lot of radiation is quite literally a few inches away from your balls. So for the past 1 month or so, instead of carrying my phone in my pocket when it is not in use, so फिर मैं उसे usually हाथ में रखता हूँ, या फिर if you are someone like me who always carries a bag, so फिर you can just keep your phone inside. And studies done on rats show that testosterone levels can decrease significantly, impacting your sperm fertility and motility, even if you have your phone close to your balls for as little as 1 hour a day. Now, imagine doing that for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day for years on an end. So, the third point is getting sunlight. Upon a quick Google search, you come to know that about 75% of our population in India is deficient in vitamin D. So, how does this exactly affect our testosterone levels? Correlation behind sunlight and testosterone is very simple. When our skin is exposed to sunlight, it triggers the synthesis of vitamin D, and that in turn helps us to produce testosterone. So, every 3 out of 4 people are deficient in vitamin D. So, chances are that if you are not active and you spend a lot of time indoors, then you are deficient in vitamin D, and it might be affecting your bone health, it might be affecting your inflammation levels, it might be affecting your testosterone levels as well. The things that you could do right now is getting your vitamin D levels checked, and if they are very low, then you could try supplementing vitamin D supplements, and if they are on the lower end of normal, so for getting them back up is very easy. Just aim for about 15 to 20 minutes of morning sunlight, preferably between 8 to 9 a.m. आफ्टर 9 9:30 डिपेंडिंग अपॉन वेयर यू स्टे इन इंडिया बहुत ही ज़्यादा हार्श हो सकता है सनलाइट द वे दैट आई लाइक टू डू दिस एंड आई हैव बीन डूइंग दिस फॉर द पास्ट 4 years एवर सिंस कोविड इज the first thing that I do in the morning is, brush karne ke baad, I go out on a morning walk. I do either that or I go out on my terrace and have chai. Both of them work. Both of them give me around 15 to 20 minutes of sunlight. And honestly, I love the serotonin boost. So, teesri cheese is talk to real women, stop watching porn, and stop jerking off to a screen. So, the average male has seen more naked women in a week than their ancestors have in their entire lifetime. So, at the end of the day, we need to realize that these are just billion-dollar businesses capitalizing on our insecurities, our urges, our loneliness. And हमें समझना है कि giving into our urges is not getting us anywhere in life. So the website Your Brain on Porn mentions that how watching porn can rewire your brain in such a way that you begin to think that masturbation and real sex is one and the same. And in a lot of extreme cases, it can cause relationship problems and erectile dysfunction. And just think about it, your brain gets a similar level of dopamine from watching porn and masturbating as it gets from doing drugs. So your primal need is to seek a partner to reproduce, and instead of building yourself up into someone the opposite sex might be attracted to, these billion-dollar industries trick you into getting quick dopamine. So there's a concept called sexual energy transmutation in Napoleon Hill's book Think and Grow Rich. So in that book, he explains that how we can transmute all of our sexual energy into creating something and creating the life that we want. So when you have high levels of testosterone and your ambition and your drive is high, you won't be afraid to set big goals. Another of my favorite quotes from Casey Neistat's video is, without a goal, you can't score. So imagine कि आप फुटबॉल की फील्ड पे हो and you are just juggling a ball, but that field doesn't have a goal. फिर आप स्कोर कैसे करोगे? So the easiest way is to set medium to long term goals and honestly just break them down into smaller steps. And by that I mean that have monthly, weekly and daily timelines. And if you get too overwhelmed, मेरे साथ बहुत होता है, is I just keep a phrase in mind is, do not try to win the day, try to win the week. So, one of the things that decreases our testosterone levels and decreases them by a lot is our stress levels. So, Buddhism explains us that life is suffering. So, it is an evident fact that there will be some level of stress. Life won't be complete utopia, but in psychology, there's a concept called as eustress, which literally means the necessary amount of stress that is required for you to work towards your goal. Imagine कि आप गिटार सीख रहे हो and if the guitar string is too tight, it may break or the sound won't be just about right. If it is too loose, then you won't be able to even play the guitar. So stop chasing for a life without stress. Instead, rise up to it and minimize the unnecessary stresses that you have. So the next few changes that I am going to tell you is a few diet changes, and no आपको कोई भी fancy चीजें खरीदनी नहीं पड़ेगी. These are changes that you could be doing right after watching this video. So the quickest way to increase your testosterone and to looking good is losing weight. So if you look at diets in the US and UK, then it is filled with processed foods. Hence, they have higher levels of obesity. We, on the other hand, have घर का खाना, roti, sabzi, dal, chawal. What we have been eating for the past hundreds of years, and we see people on social media all the time कि ये diet follow कर लो, ये वाला expensive खाना खा लो, ये expensive supplement ले लो, and you need to realize कि a lot of the health benefits come from actually subtracting stuff and not necessarily adding stuff. And people who are always trying to add stuff to your diet, add stuff to your lifestyle, are usually the ones that are benefiting from it. Here's what I do. I follow what works. I eat enough of ghee and not too restrictive with my calories or with my diet. So I eat home cooked foods most of the time. And if I am craving something, तो फिर I try to make it at home, या फिर if I'm out with friends, I'm out on a date, तो फिर I just enjoy the food guilt free, क्योंकि a part of it is also realizing that going out on dates, enjoying with your friends is also a normal part of your life and you shouldn't be too restrictive with it. So बात आती है कि removing या फिर adding a few things that are easily available at home. The first thing that I want you to do is removing white sugar off of your diet. If you can't completely remove, तो फिर you could try minimizing it, या फिर if you want a healthier alternative, then you could use good, या फिर you could use khadi shakkar. As soon as you cut white sugar या फिर minimize it, whatever you choose to do, then you not only lose body weight, yes, obviously that is a part of it क्योंकि आपके calories कट हो जाएंगे, your skin looks better, your hair looks better, so you reduce your risk of getting diabetes. And if you are pre-diabetic, तो फिर you potentially have a chance of reversing. So the second diet related change that you could do right after clicking off of this video is adding about 1 to 2 tablespoons of honey to your diet. Honey contains boron and increases luteinizing hormone that increases serum testosterone levels. Studies show that quercetin, a potent antioxidant flavonoid, which when supplemented for even 15 days increases your total serum testosterone. So बात आती है supplements की, तो फिर I wanted to keep this at the very end of the diet related changes क्योंकि supplement is exactly that. It has to supplement your lifestyle. If you have like 4 hours of sleep and you are trying to like supplement stuff, if you take like ashwagandha, then it is not going to help you. Supplements come at the very top of the pyramid. Supplements are something that add on to your current lifestyle. They will only work when your lifestyle is optimum. So the 3 to 4 supplements that are constant for me is ashwagandha, zinc, shilajit, and tongatali. So if you got something useful from this video, then do share this video with all of your friends, and I'll see you guys in the next one.